What's up, guys, and welcome to the God of Thunder podcast, my first official podcast that has been long anticipated. I've been talking about this for about a year, and I'm glad to finally do it. My name is Kyle. I am the God of Thunder, huge Charger fan for over 20 years. So it's a pleasure to be speaking to my fellow Chargers fans and, get to know you, and hopefully you guys get to know me. I've been here since the LaDainian Tomlinson and Drew Brees days. So I've been through all the struggles, been through the ups, and been through the downs. And, unfortunately for the Chargers, this season is no different than the previous 20 something years. But there's something that I heard yesterday that has really, really put pushed me to finally start this podcast. And it was a rumor that was on the Pat McAfee show. It was via Pat McAfee show with Dan Orlovsky, and we're gonna get into that. But I'm gonna kind of lead you into it. And the first thing we're gonna talk about is our current coach. If that's gonna kind of give you an idea, hint, hint. So we're talking about Brandon Staley right now. Brandon Staley has been the coach of the Los Angeles Chargers for the past 3 years. He has an overall record of about 23-20, and it's a winning record. It's not a losing record. But there's been one big thing that we all know that's completely apparent, that he is supposed to be a defensive guru. He was supposed to be the reason why we win. Granted, we have a top five quarterback in Justin Herbert, elite status quarterback, but he was supposed to be the reason why we win. Came from the Rams, best defense in the NFL, albeit they had Aaron Donald and their cornerback Jalen Ramsey. But he came here his first season. He went 9-8, winning record, step up. Although he had Justin Herbert, um, the issue, even though it was one of the worst defenses in the NFL, the issue with that season was it was a new system for Brandon Staley, and the players were just getting to know what he expected of them, what coverages, his mixed man zone coverages, what those were, and they really needed to learn. Even though we had top tier one elite talent in Joey Bosa, in Derwin James, and among others on the defensive line. It was a learning season, you could say. And even though we still almost made the playoffs, it was no secret that that first season, Brandon Staley had one of the worst defenses in the NFL. The next season, season two under Brandon Staley, year 2022, we did make the playoffs. However, what we had expected the defense to improve, our expectations of that defense were not met. We acquired some major players on the defensive line in Austin Johnson and Sebastian Joseph Day. We acquired one of the biggest free agent steals or deals in Charger history in J.C. Jackson, who was an all pro from the New England Patriots. And he was supposed to come step in and take those number one receivers away. Even though he had some injuries that season, he just didn't fit well inside of Brandon Staley's defense. He wasn't what he was with the Patriots. He was more of a press man, one on one, put him on an island. Staley didn't let him do that. Staley wanted him to adjust to his defense, just like he expects all of our players to do, to adjust to his defense, not necessarily play to our players' strengths. That's one of my biggest knocks on Brandon Staley. We did have injuries in the 2022 NFL season. Joey Bosa was out for, I think, about 8 or 9 games. We had some injuries in the cornerback room. And then we also had some injuries on the offensive line with Slater going out. But however, we still pulled through. We still made the playoffs. And we played against the Jaguars team that beat us earlier in that season and put up 27 points on them. 27 points in the first half. All we needed to do was have our defense come through for us. And to no surprise, the Chargers blew a 27-point lead in the second half, and we walked home basically. And a lot of us expected Brandon Staley to walk home. The players and everyone got in their flight, came back to LA with their tail between their legs, disappointed. The fans were disappointed. The players were disappointed. I know I felt sick to my stomach. I'm sure all of you did. But we can we wanted Staley's head. We wanted him to be fired, but we know the Chargers franchise is not one to fire a coach mid-season or even after 2 seasons. Our previous two coaches we had, Anthony Lynn, he completed I think about 4 seasons. McCoy prior to him completed about 4 seasons. So we know that this franchise allows their head coaches to get a good run 3-4 years before they really do anything. But those two coaches had, yeah, granted, Philip Rivers, great quarterback, huge fan of Philip Rivers, um, but he is not Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert is on a tier of quarterbacks that are destined for greatness, among Patrick Mahomes, among Joe Burrow, and our expectations are a lot higher right now compared to when we had Philip Rivers. So, moving into 2023 season, our expectations again were once extremely high. There's absolutely no excuses for this season. That's why a lot of us Chargers fans are extremely fed up with what has been going on. We started the season with a loss. Granted, our defense didn't play anywhere near our expectations. We held the Dolphins to, I think it was about 16 points the year prior. Whatever the point was we got the W, and Staley's defense came to play. We expected the same thing this year. So right off the bat, we start this season, and the defense underperforms, and Justin Herbert has to do everything he possibly can to win that game. And unfortunately, we came up with the loss. And game after game after game, this defense, with all of the talent, with all of the necessary tools, has not been able to perform to the level that we expect them to, that the players expect themselves to play. I think that everyone in the NFL, the whole fan base, expects them to play. So it's now it's disappointing, frankly. And I know you feel that way. I feel that way. And I think it's honestly time to move on from Brandon Staley. If it wasn't last season, it definitely is now. We just lost to the Lions, and they put up 41 points on us. The Lions are a good team. Don't get me wrong. We all know the Lions are a good team. But to put up 41 points against a defense that is healthy, with Khalil Mack, with Joey Bosa coming off the edges, with our up and coming rookie who's been doing phenomenal coming off the edge. I think he didn't even play many snaps, by the way, which I won't get into. But with Asante Samuel Jr., with Derwin James, now we have a Lohi Gilman coming up and playing hard, forcing turnovers. With that defense, there is no way that team should have put up 41 points. So this is going to lead me to my next topic is we know Brandon Staley's gone. It's either going to be a matter of time or this game, next game maybe, especially if we lose to the Packers, or it's going to be at the end of the season. So with that being said, we have heard a lot of rumors, and I am a big fan of none other than Jim Harbaugh. I think this is definitely my top pick. Jim Harbaugh is a former Charger. He played quarterback for the Chargers, and he's also a former head coach with the San Francisco 49ers. As soon as that man got there, he turned that franchise around, and he didn't have the quarterback that the Chargers have right now. They went from, I think, a losing record to his first season being 13-3. Second season, 11-4. Third season, 12-4. and then right before he left, they finished off with a winning or at 8-8. But he led them to a Super Bowl, to conference finals, and he is a head coach that you want to have. The no nonsense, the fundamentalist, the coach that's going to play that high efficiency, simple pass game with that power football mentality. And that's what Jim Harbaugh brings to the table. And there's a lot of talk going on about what's going on in college football. As you know, he coaches for the Michigan Wolverines, and there has been some controversy for the past couple years. As a head coach, why would you want to deal with that with the NCAA? He just got suspended for 3 games. The school did a suspension on him for the first 3 games, and he's just doing his job to be the best coach he could be, to get whatever edge he needs to get, and that's what winners do. We play between the lines, but you do what you need to do to win, and that's the mentality that we need for the Los Angeles Chargers with the team that we have, with the players that we have. There is no chance that there is no reason why we shouldn't be winning. The next coach that I would like to talk about is one of the greatest of all time. And a couple days ago, via the Pat McAfee show, Pat McAfee was talking to Dan Orlovsky, who's obviously a QB, a prior QB in the NFL, an analyst. Um, he was pretty good at his job. He's really good at picking apart offenses as well as defenses. I really enjoy watching him on ESPN. But he was discussing the state of the New England Patriots, and we all know the New England Patriots are struggling this year. Mac Jones can't throw a ball to save his life. The defense has been up and down. There's been injuries across the board with them. I mean, they're so desperate that they were able to trade J.C. Jackson, or we were able to trade J.C. Jackson to the Patriots in return for, I think, a seventh round pick. At first, I think we all thought that was kind of a bad trade and we got fleeced. But I mean, looking at it now, J.C. Jackson didn't even go and travel with them to Germany to play that game. And then I'm pretty sure he's going to be benched or cut sometime soon. So that was actually a positive move that Tom Telesco made in order for us to kind of move forward and get away from that contract and get away from that negative energy that it was bringing in the locker room, because there was a lot of issues that were going on with him. But back to the Patriots, they're struggling right now, and we all know Robert Kraft is a winning owner. He wants to win. I'm sure he has faith and trust in Bill Belichick, but there's just things that are not working out. It's a huge mess, and there are rumors that he's ready to go, and that Robert Kraft and Bill Belichick are going to split ways at the end of the season. That's what Dan Orlovsky said. He neither really confirmed or denied what the source was, but he's a well connected man. I completely trust him. And when asked by Pat, where do you think Bill Belichick will go if he leaves the New England Patriots? That's the Los Angeles Chargers. The Los Angeles Chargers have an elite quarterback. Do you know what Bill Belichick does with elite quarterbacks? With Tom Brady, he had a 7.769 winning percentage. Don't get me wrong, I'm not calling Justin Herbert Tom Brady. Tom Brady is the GOAT. He's the greatest of all time. No one's ever going to be compared to him. He has 7 Super Bowl rings. He is the greatest of all time, hands down. But with an elite quarterback, Bill Belichick can win football games. He is a defensive mastermind, a legit one, not a Brandon Staley 1 year wonder, one hit wonder type of defensive coordinator, but a complete mastermind. And we've seen what he does with elite quarterbacks. Now, some will say Bill Belichick will never leave New England. Robert Kraft wouldn't let him go. Robert Kraft gave him a contract extension prior to the season that we no one really heard about until a couple games in. Why would they let Bill Belichick go if they gave him a contract extension? Well, if you have a coach who has won you 6 rings, why wouldn't you give him a parting gift? Could that contract extension be a parting gift? Maybe something that they let him walk with and take to wherever he wants. He's certainly deserves it. Greatest coach of all time, 6 Super Bowl rings, 9 Super Bowl appearances, one of the greatest defensive masterminds ever. So some say that may hold it back. I doubt it. I doubt it. He deserves whatever he wants. And I'm sure the owners know that. Robert Kraft knows that. Bill Belichick knows that. All of New England, the fans, they know that he deserves what he wants. Some may say, well, the New England Patriots are going to expect some compensation for their Hall of Fame coach walking away. That's a fair point. But as I said, Bill Belichick deserves to go where he wants. So I doubt there would be many limitations. I doubt there would be a first round pick that they would want for compensation, or even a second round pick, because Bill Belichick's not going to want to go somewhere and not have a first or second round pick. Let's all be honest. But the Chargers absolutely have to be his number one option. All the defensive talent that he needs, all of the offensive talent that he needs. He could walk right in, turn this franchise around, and immediately we will become Super Bowl contenders. Immediately. Until the day Justin Herbert leaves or the day Bill Belichick leaves, the Los Angeles Chargers would immediately become Super Bowl contenders. So that's just a rumor. Just wanted to bring that up. I'm a big advocate for Jim Harbaugh, but you know, Bill Belichick, like I said, 6 Super Bowl rings. Um, just the goat, greatest of all time. You gotta love him. I mean, you really can't hate on the man. He is the goat of goats when it comes to coaching. I think he has the second highest wins in NFL history, and maybe behind Don Shula, I think it is. But if he came to the Los Angeles Chargers, there would be no doubt in my mind that we would be contending for not only the AFC West every year against the Kansas City Chiefs and Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes, but the AFC Conference against Joe Burrow, against the Dolphins, and the NFL. It would be open season for us. Now, to close this out, my first podcast, hope you're enjoying. Please like and subscribe if you're enjoying this. Um, it is my first one, so it's pretty fun. I love talking about the Chargers. Talk about them all day and all night. Huge fan, like I said before. So shoot some comments if you want, and then feel free to reach out if you guys want talk some football. But I'll finish with this because I am going to make another video this week. This was just episode 1. But we do have the Green Bay Packers this week. I think we're favored by 3 points. And yeah, my expectation is that we are going to win. Brandon Staley wins against bad quarterbacks. I think throughout, since his whole era, the Brandon Staley era, we've beat bad quarterbacks. I mean, if you look at this season, the quarterbacks that we beat the past two, or before the Lions, the past 2 weeks, we beat Brandon, the undrafted rookie who was out of a D2 school. We beat him, made him look silly. We beat obviously Wilson from the Jets. He's just not a good quarterback. He has some talent, but he's not a good quarterback. And then even earlier in the season, who was our other win? I think we beat the Minnesota Vikings. Obviously, Kirk Cousins is a good quarterback, but um, the defense surprisingly bailed us out during that game. And then going back to we beat Aiden O'Connell. Jesus, the Raiders rookie quarterback out of Purdue who was not projected to start because Jimmy G, to no surprise, was injured. And we beat Aiden O'Connell. So those are the wins that Brandon Staley has. None of those wins are impressive. None of them. Going back to last season when we went on our hot streak, we beat the Colts, we beat the Rams, Baker Mayfield, who played like 1 week with them. We beat them that week. We played against the Colts who had Nick Foles who was starting. I mean, Brandon Staley's record is not impressive. His wins are not impressive. And it's sad to say because I was such a huge advocate of Brandon Staley. Um, but enough about Brandon Staley. Like I said, Chargers traveling to Lambeau Field to play Jordan Love and the Green Bay Packers. More to come on this topic. Like I said, I'll publish another video. But if you did like this video and want to hear more, please like and subscribe. I really, really would appreciate it. First official video. Uh, and now this is the God of Thunder signing out. As we know, the Chargers bring the lightning, the fans bring the thunder. So here we go, baby. Bolt up. I was given a wish. I find nothing.